Good morning. It's morning for me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm a little tiny bit late because there's chaos in the street. There's not really chaos in the street. I made that up. But there is a lot of noise in the street. There's a lot of noise in the street this morning. So we have workmen at the front doing all sorts of things. So good morning, 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 morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do say hello to me in the chat. Whether you are folding laundry right now or trying to get the kids sorted, or maybe you've had a really tough day and you're just having a bit of a cry somewhere, you are in the right place here with me. This space is for all of those difficult moments, some of the devastating moments, and hopefully some of the fun stuff that comes up too. For the women here who are feeling frozen and everything is too much, welcome, and please know that we're all here to just be kind to each other and try and get through the moment. Welcome to my table, where nothing is really off limits. I know you're busy, juggling a million bloody things, because aren't we all? But for the next 10 seconds, let's just take a wee bit of time for you. So, deep breath in and out. And just do a check-in with yourself. How are you going? How are you going? 0 to 10. 0. Life is a bag of poop. 10. I'm pretty good. Well, girls, I've got to tell you that this week has been a bit of a roller coaster in up and down emotion for me. I'm sorry about the darkness, but like I said, I have workmen outside of here and they're very, very noisy and my light is not on me well enough. Let me see if I can make it a little bit more. Oh, now I've gone and messed it all up, girls. Yikes, don't mess with stuff once you've gotten started, Debbie. I won't mess with it since I got started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see you all. Good morning. You're at a 7 today, Joanne. That's nice. I wish I was at a 7. So yeah, this week has been a bit of like this. Peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. In fact, lots of troughs. And I think, for me, 2025 has had a lot of that, a heck of a lot of that. There's been a lot going on personally. So this week has been challenging. And so I'm going to talk today about, the antidote to some of that stuff and some of the things I've been focusing on. So say hello to me in the comments. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're from. My name is Debbie Carberry. I am almost 60. I keep reminding myself, I'm 59 and 3/4. Yikes. Not that I mind. And I have 4 kids. It was Father's Day at the weekend. That was interesting, not in a good way. Well, there were some good bits, but there were some challenges, which I'll talk about again in a minute. I'm a university-trained therapist, and I'm a relationship coach online. And I help literally thousands and thousands of women from around the world who have gone through a long-term relationship ending, sometimes after an affair, sometimes out of the blue with no warning. And these women usually are going through other things like midlife and menopause and all of the other things that come with being a little bit more mature. So yeah, that's what I do for a crust. Now, this week, let's chat about this week. And the coffee is always good, girls. Oh, my first ranunculus are here. Look, from my garden, something I'm going to talk about today. So, this year has been bumpy, and for me, there's been a lot of hills and troughs. Let me know, hills and troughs for you girls, or is it just nice flatline? In fact, I would go flatline at the moment. So this week has been about my partner's ongoing health concerns. Father's Day came up. Don't know about you lot, but how was that? If you happen to celebrate Father's Day at the weekend, some of us don't have our dads around anymore. I'm one of those people. In fact, my dad was never around. My kids are in different stages of interestingness around dads and Father's Day, and that caused some emotional upset at my house. These things, these times when we're told, hey, this is what we should do on certain days, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas. Don't say Christmas, Kathy's here. She sent me a message the other day telling me that it's only 53 days. I was like, Kathy, stop. She loves Christmas, bless her. Hello, my darling. How are you? Good morning. So, some of these days can put on a lot of pressure around what we expect and what actually happens. It can be difficult, like really difficult. So, let me know. Did you celebrate? Was it good? Was it bad? Did you not celebrate? In addition to all of that, I had to keep swimming because life just doesn't stop, does it? You know, when we go through relationships ending, or our older kids not talking to us, or juggling our parent who's got dementia, and our children, and our ex, and our bills, and our job, and we juggle, you know, we're juggling, and the balls are in the air, and we're hoping that we don't drop any of them. And you know, for me, self-care is a massive part of how I manage that. And in my membership this month, that's what we're talking about, self-care, which is really helpful for me, because this month is really about making sure I have lots of personal self-care. So, you know, looking at, okay, how do I best take care of myself for the longevity? You know, some things just don't stop. Like, I've worked with women where they've been going through their settlements. You know, maybe they're doing parenting orders, or maybe they're doing financial orders, and you can't just go, I'm not doing it, I'm over it, it's too hard, I'm too tired, I don't want to do it, so I'm just not going to do it. So you have to have something that you lean on that helps you get through that. Things like this week with my partner having some really significant health issues, and it's not like you can just go, well, I'm not going to deal with it, or I'm not going to do anything about it. Like, it's okay. Wow, we've kind of got to manage this. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to move through it? How are we going to stay sane, which is very important in my opinion. And for me, my garden is a lot of that, and my self-care is a lot of that. So I've really upped my self-care. I've really made my self-care front and center. And for those women who don't know me very well, and if you don't, say hi to me, because I always like it when people say hello in the comments. For those women who don't know me, you know, self-care to me is like literally watering a plant. You know, if you don't water your plant, it's gonna die. If you don't feed your plant when it's fruiting, it won't fruit. If you don't protect it from, you know, bless them, bugs and birds, they won't be there for you. So we are not unlike that. We have got to be conscious about, how do I do those things for myself? And for many of us, we think of self-care as having a manicure, or a pedi, or a facial, or going shopping. And that isn't what self-care is. Although that can be nice, and it can be very enjoyable to do those things, that isn't what self-care is. Self-care is the oxygen mask you put on during tough times. You know, self-care is the escape rope that you have to get out of the burning building. Self-care is really essential. It's not kind of something you do sometimes. It's something you do every single day. And when things are tough, when life is hard, when you are struggling, you increase your self-care. So I often work with women who will go along doing amazing, great self-care when life is good. And the second they hit a wall, they literally stop all self-care. In fact, sometimes what happens is, instead of doing self-care, they do self-harm. Like, they do things that are going to not look after themselves. They're neglectful of themselves. You know, they don't exercise, they don't drink water, they don't have meals, they do have meals, or too many meals, they drink too much, or take recreational helping activities. I've got to be careful what I say on YouTube. I don't know how much I get pinged. I've got to be careful what I say, but you know what I'm talking about. And so, you know, self-care has got to be kind of front and center. So let me know, do you have a self-care routine? Do you have a plan around managing it? You know, when the struggles hit, what's the go-to? And for me personally, this week has really been about coming back to myself in a big way, because I can't really burden some of the people around me. You know, my partner right now cannot be supportive of me. He is going through something huge. And so I can't really say to him, hey, can you help me manage this thing that you are going through? So who do I lean on? Well, I lean on other people, but I also become extremely resourceful myself. So I know things like, I have to have a good routine. I've got to get myself in bed at a reasonable time and make sure I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. I've got to make sure I'm drinking plenty of water and really just staying hydrated. It makes such a difference to my body, my mind, and my thinking, and just my general well-being. I've got to look at things that I'm eating, like what am I consuming and when am I consuming it? And being mindful of, is that really feeding me and helping me, or is this going to make me feel like crap down the track? And being a bit mindful about not diving into a bag of lollies or chocolate or bread, which is one of my favorite things to just nosh on when I'm feeling really challenged. But to go, you know what, that's not nurturing for me right now, and I need to choose other things. And being a parent to myself and saying no sometimes, no, Debbie, you can't have that. You're going to be looking after yourself right now, because that is extremely important. You're noticing that at this moment you need more self-care. Yeah. And I think, again, when I wake up in the morning, I check in, where am I at 0 to 10? And if I'm under 5, I'm like, right, you need to be mindful. Like today's a mindful day. If I'm over 7, I'm like, you know what, not too bad, not too bad. But if I'm underneath 5, it's definitely a flag to me to go, you need to be mindful today. I do deep breathing deliberately during the day. Like I do really big, deep, opening up my lungs, really holding my breath and pumping out a really long exhale. Breathing is so underrated. It helps your lymphatic system. It helps calm your nervous system. It brings you out of fight, flight, and freeze. So breathing is freaking the most amazing resource. We all have it, but you kind of have to practice, to do it well. Because there's breathing and there's breathing. Many people breathe up here, and the way to tell is put your hand here and just notice. Where's the breathing coming from? Is it coming from your tummy or coming from your chest? If it's coming from your tummy, that's really good oxygen getting into your body. And that's really helpful. The other thing that I've been doing this week is being in my yard. Oh, there you go. There's my flowers. Look at my ranunculus. Aren't they delicious? They're so damn delicious. And spring is here, and spring is a time of sowing seeds. It is a time of, not really productivity. It's a time of laying seeds down, making sure they're in good soil, keeping them watered so that they germinate, not too much, not too little, making sure they get some sunlight to get the soil nice and warm so the seeds will germinate, great conditions. And I think with self-care, that's literally what we're doing, right? We're finding good conditions for ourselves, good conditions to make us well and healthy, good conditions to help us manage what's coming through the front door of our lives. So we want to create good conditions. For me, the sunflowers have gone in at the end of the yard, which have brought me such joy. Had maintenance to do at the other end of the yard because the really torrential rain we had a couple of days ago washed away everything. Doesn't life get like that? You put in a ton of hard work. You really have done all the hard yards, and something comes along and literally removes it all. So my front yard, that happened to. The rain came down, it washed away all the hard work I'd done, and it took me back to the drawing board of going, I'm going to have to find another solution for that. I didn't give up. I didn't collapse. I didn't say, that's it, I'm not doing it. I went, okay, back to the drawing board. I am going to need to work out what I'm going to do with that. Life is like that, where we have to stop sometimes, take some deep breaths and go, okay, evaluating, is this working or not? There is 0 point in keeping on doing something if it's not working. We just keep doing it over and over again, going, this doesn't work, but I'll keep on doing it. And then frustration comes. Instead of going, hang on, let me assess what I'm doing. Let me look at what I'm doing. Is it working or not? Is some of it working or not? What if I had got to adjust? For me as a gardener, that's often a lot of things that I have to adjust. I have to adjust, the ranunculus that are down here in a temporary bed because I couldn't put them in a permanent bed again this year. And checking and noticing that some of them, their roots were not getting into the ground because I put cardboard down to stop the bloody grass. And so what did I do? I went, okay, I've got to dig some holes in this cardboard so that they can get their roots in and get a bit more established, because they're going to fall over otherwise. So we reassess in life the plan we've made or the action we've taken, and we go, did it work or not? If it didn't work, don't just keep doing it. Go back to the drawing board, reassess, and come back, which is one of the other things that I do every single week. I have time to reflect. Now, I don't know, and you can let me know, do you do any reflecting at all? I think it's a really essential part of being a grown-up, but not everybody does it, I've been told. And for me, reflecting literally means that, I go into the yard and I look at the beds and I check the beds. Are they dry enough? Are they wet enough? Are they getting their roots into the ground? And I assess and I go, I think there might be something not working there. Or I go to the other end and go, Christ, all of the bloody dirt has been washed away in that really strong rain. I need to reassess, what am I going to do here? Finding some rocks to try and bridge where the water comes so it doesn't dig through the dirt like it had done with the heavy rains. I try and take time every single week and daily sometimes, right, to just stop and think about, where am I at? What's working? What isn't working? What do I need to change and kind of tweak a bit? Okay. So, John, you started journaling every single night. That's a great idea. And it doesn't have to be heavy and it doesn't have to take hours to do. We can just sit down and quickly do a reflection on the day. What happened? When did it happen? Who did it happen to? What were the highs? What were the lows? A bit of gratitude is always a good thing in a journal. And so you reflect often, depending on what's going on. Yeah. And reflecting isn't about kind of pulling things apart and ruminating on it. It's literally about just assessing it and then stopping and going, okay, is this plan working or not? And what have I got to do? So this week, in addition to that, as spring is in the air, it is time for gut health for me, which is all about mental health. This is a really core part of who I am, how I work with people, what I believe. It is a really core set of my values is, having strong gut health, because gut health is really good mental health. And when you're going through a lot of challenges, you want your mental health to be really strong. When we've gone through difficult moments, we can get really depleted. And we need extra reserves. When we're under stress, we have a lot of cortisol in our body, the stress hormone. When we're under stress, we can, not sleep well, not eat well, not look after ourselves. And so one of the most fundamental important things is that what we're eating and what we're consuming really will make a difference around our mental health. For anybody who knows me, this is something I am massively passionate about. So this week it saw me finish off my first batch of sauerkraut, my favorite sauerkraut in the whole wide world. So it was beetroot, red cabbage, apple and ginger, which is just divinely beautiful. Sat on my bench for about 9 days. And then it's managed to get in the fridge. I had my first taste of that this week, and that was so good. With sauerkraut, of course, just one forkful is plenty. It's full of probiotic and prebiotic and all the good things that your gut just loves. And it really helps with your microbiome. It helps with diversity in your microbiome. So really getting that gut dancing and singing, all the bugs in there doing cartwheels. In addition to that, I finally got hold of some UHT milk. Thank goodness, finally. There was a shortage in Australia. There's shortages of food. Who's noticed that wherever you are in the world? And so I was able to finally make my SIBO yogurt. And well, it's not called a yogurt really, it's a dairy product, but it's SIBO, and it's a yogurt to me. I have my second batch going today, and I was able to offer one of my neighbors who's gone through cancer treatment some for her gut. That really, really brings in a lot of gut healing. So for those of us with IBS or Crohn's disease or inflammatory bowel, which is a lot of the population, given that the food system is just crap, then, if you've got gut issues of any sort, having these amazing natural foods that help your gut get better. So I have a batch of that going. I also fed my SCOBY at the weekend because my SCOBY was getting a little dry. A SCOBY is an organism that is delicious, actually. It looks disgusting. It looks like slimy snot, but it's not. It's for my kombucha, because I'm going to make some fermented drinks coming up. So I love making kombucha. I've got lots of delicious flavors. I've got a mojito kind of one, which is a lime flavored one, strawberry and lemonade one, a blackberry and blueberry one. I've got a ginger one, of course. So I try with different flavors, and I have those on hand. They're so good for your gut. They're a lovely fizzy drink that has so much goodness in it. So that is something else I've been doing. So it's important when we are going through stressful things to remember that from a mental health perspective, one of the most amazing things we can do is take care of our gut health and make our gut microbiome dance and sing with lots of natural things. And in addition to that, things like do a little exercise, get a little sunshine, make sure that we are, hydrating ourselves. So just really basic, but really important things, like really important things. All right, if you've got a question for me, pop it into the comments. I can see there's one there, so let me have a look. Last night I had a flooding moment, almost passed out. So I know that I need to make sure that I'm getting more sleep, working more on my gut so I don't have so many issues with eating. Yeah, and when we get flooded with something, our system really doesn't cope well. So we need to have strategies in place for that, remembering those breathing exercises, right? So if you practice your breathing, when something floods you, the first thing you do is you start to do your breathing. You remind yourself, you practice, breathe, 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 and you do your breathing, which would have helped you not pass out. Lovely. So make sure that you're practicing when you're not going through really scary moments, that you can do those things so that when it comes, you remember, breathe, breathe, breathe. That's one word, right, to remember. And it's so important. For me, stop is always first and breathe is second. Just stop whatever you're doing. Stop talking, stop doing things, and breathe. Really, really important. If you have a question for me, pop it into the comments. I'll answer as many as I can. So that's the first thing. Sleep, of course, is really important, and good sleep hygiene is really important. Set out your routine, go to bed at the same time. Make sure you try and stay away from screens. Although I watch screens before I sleep, and it honestly doesn't impact me. So, things are different for different people. My partner can drink caffeine before bed. I can't drink it after 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's, know your own body, but just make sure, you have a routine. Go have a shower, put on your pajamas if you wear pajamas, get into a comfortable position. Make sure the room is nice and comfortable, and give yourself grace. If you can't sleep within 20 minutes, get out of bed. Get out of bed and go do something, and then come back to bed again. Lying in bed, tossing and turning is never, ever good for you. Yeah, and flooding can feel really scary, like really, really scary. So knowing how to manage flooding moments is really important. Really, really important. Yeah, breathing really does stop you from passing out. It's slowing your breath down, And that really will help you get the oxygen in. It's when we hyperventilate and we're breathing too fast, or we stop breathing because we're holding our breath. For some of us who are going to freeze, where we stop breathing and we're holding our breath, that can be really dangerous. If anybody has a question, pop it in the comments for me now, and I will definitely answer your questions. Just a quick point, please, can you do me a favor? This channel is fairly new, and to get people to see this channel and to enjoy the content that I give, I would ask very much if you could help me out by doing a couple of things. Number one, just hit the subscribe button. That helps my channel enormously. And share my content with other women. There's a share button on every screen of every video that I do. You just click it and paste it for the other person. You can send it via email. You can put it on your socials. I'd love that. Also hit the thumbs up button and let me know that you liked what you saw. In addition, you can hit the notification bell. It will tell you every single time that I upload something new, and of course when I'm coming to do my lives, which will make sure that you get to know when I'm here, and you'll get to come to the live chats, which is, I'm doing these every single week on a Thursday. I'd love you to join me for these. So yeah, do those things. Those things really help me out. I'm currently working on 2 video series. One is around a long-term relationship ending, and that is called Heartbreak to Healing. It is a 12-part video series. I think we're on chapter 4, and I've just finished videoing chapter 5 and 6. The same with the affairs, after an affair videos, those are coming up. But I'm also doing some other videos in the coming months. I'm going to do some videos in and around being a single mama, taking care of your babies, post-separation, managing your ex, and all of the things that come that are very stressful with being a single mom. So I'm going to be doing a video series on that. And of course, some of my pet things are things like managing midlife when you are going through the transition of a relationship ending or a partner having an affair, and kind of the other things that can come in with menopause, perimenopause, that are super challenging, trust me. And in addition to that, I'll be talking more about my gardening and gut health, and really, really being mindful in your life and how to really live a rich and meaningful life. Of course, there's my poetry, which is on my channel. I write poems and I read them to you because I like that. They're on their own playlist on the channel. You can go and listen to them anytime, and I really enjoy those. They're usually about what's going on in my life at the time. Some of them are funny, some of them really gut-wrenching and hard, but you know, they are my lived experience, and I get reasonably good feedback from them, so I think they're helpful for some people. So if you're interested in poems that stir you up, they're on a playlist on my channel. You can find playlists at the top of my page, and they're just where I've organized the content for you so you can find what you're looking for. And then the videos play one after another. They usually show up on the screen either here or here or there and there. I think it's there and there actually, but I don't really know because everything is backwards when you're doing videos, which is really challenging in my opinion. All right, let me see what's going on. I could really do with guidance on being a single mom, so look out for that. Yeah, single parenting is challenging. You know, you still have all the things. You have the relationship has ended for whatever reason. Then you have things like parenting orders to manage. You have financial settlements to manage. You haven't got the luxury of not engaging with an ex. You have got to engage with your ex, generally speaking. You are now sharing the parenting of your children. So there are times maybe you're not with your kids, and that is really hard. Finance becomes another big topic around how do you manage your money and pay all the things and be present. And it's how do you carry the grief of what is going on and still be available to little people. And that's a lot. And of course, being a single mom of 4-year-olds is not the same as being a single mom of 13-year-olds or 25-year-olds. And so there's a nuance in that also. So there's just a lot in being a single mama, and how managing that can really, it takes a lot of work and massive amounts of self-care. I was a single mom for a period of time when my kids were little, and my goodness, wow, it was tough times. All right, are there other gut health recipes or foods that can help? Having issues with eating and keeping food in. I still have been doing your gut shots, but the pepper really does my stomach in. So there's a couple of things you can do. So, you know, sometimes hot and spicy is painful, so you don't want that. I'm just going to say I'm not a medical professional. I'm a mental health professional. I love gut health. I've done training around gut health, but I'm not a medical professional. I'm not giving medical advice. Please know that. Please know that anything that I share with you is based on my personal experience and is not medical advice to you. So given that, a couple of things can be really helpful if your gut is really inflamed and hot. One of the best things I've ever used is Manuka honey. It is made from the Manuka bee. It is very specialized honey, and it is very expensive honey, but it is one of the best things I've ever seen to help with inflamed gut. There was a lot of research around it settling gut ulcers, it really taking inflammation down from the stomach. You only need a tiny bit of Manuka honey. You can't use a metal spoon with it. You've got to use a wooden spoon with it. But I would get online and I would do some research around Manuka honey. They come in strengths. And if you've got really strong gut issues and you're reacting to things like hot foods like peppers, then I would go I would go one that is a much higher MGO. So you can check that all out online. You're one of my members, so you are more than welcome to talk to me privately about that tomorrow in our coaching call, and I will give you some brands and some amounts in our private group. In addition to that, apple cider vinegar can be your friend. Just a tiny capful in like a cup of water through a straw, because it's acidic and it will not be good for your teeth. But drinking that can be really good to manage gut acidity. I know it seems strange taking vinegar when you've got an acid gut, but that can be really helpful. What I also take, which I love, and I've got a herb garden, you may not, is things like I have lemon balm and mint and not thyme and oregano, and I put those just into a glass container with a couple of slices of ginger. Ginger is extremely soothing. Put some warm water over that and drink that, and that is really good for your gut. Of course, things like that SIBO yogurt is so incredibly good for your gut. So, small little things can be super helpful. Things that are not helpful for your gut are things like sugary drinks, especially sugar. A lot of sugar is not good for you. Having lots of carbohydrates, especially really processed carbohydrates, can be really not good for you. Having food that is not food, ultra processed foods, foods that appear to be foods that are not foods, that's a lot of our food, unfortunately. If your grandmother doesn't recognize it, it's not food. Margarine is not food, it's a chemical. Butter is food. Sweetened, well, fruity yogurts in the shops is not food, that is ultra processed food. You know, so a lot of the things that we eat are ultra processed. Bread from the store is ultra processed. It's got a lot of shit in it that's not good for you. So we need to be discerning and keep our food down to things that are recognizable. And things like fermenting foods are just so good for you. So really try and avoid ultra processed foods, some fats and sugars. You know, honey is still sugar. So just saying. So, and maple syrup is still sugar. So we become mindful. What I make as a substitute is date. I get dates, really healthy dates. I soak them in water and I blitz them, and they're a beautiful sweet syrup that I can just add to things. It's a serving of fruit. It's full of fiber and it's a little sweet, but it's sweetness with a purpose. So, and that's what I generally would put on my yogurts along with some lovely berries from my garden. So it's about doing those things and really protecting your gut. Things like bone broth, but the bone broth needs to come from healthy bones. We can't really do that with a store-bought chicken or a store-bought, unless you have grass-fed, beef. It's hard to make good quality bones from that. So for me, you can go and ask for carcasses at your butchers. If your butcher is chopping up birds and splitting them into legs and wings and all the rest, they may have carcasses that they will sell you for next to nothing. Ask your butcher. For me, I always buy a whole chicken. I never buy bits of meat. I buy a whole bird because it's more cost effective. I get the carcass, which I make into good quality bone broth, and I can use the different pieces. Sometimes I'll buy 3 chickens and just have 6 breasts and a ton of legs and a ton of wings, and I use the carcasses then from that to make bone broth. So bone broth is incredibly good for the gut, really, really coating, really gentle, really, really, really good. I try and get bone broth in most of my meals. So yeah, those are some things, my darling. But like I said, ask me in the coaching call tomorrow and I will give you more private information. My 14-year-old daughter has struggled with her mental health over the last 12 months. She refuses to get help, and I'm afraid to push it in case she stops opening up to me. How can I encourage her? So a couple of things about kids. Number one, if they don't want to go, they don't want to go. So there's no point in making them. That's the first thing. Number two is, she's going through puberty, and that's hard enough just by itself. So that can make, your average human turn into something unusual. Like teenage kids are really challenging, in my opinion. I've had a few of them of my own. They can be super, super challenging. So just know that that's going on. Next, she's going through a tough time. That happens. It's about how do we help her be resilient? Don't offer advice. Listen. That must be really hard for you. Gosh, that sounds like that's really challenging. Have you spoken to a teacher? Have you talked to your friends? We're not giving them advice. We're just being there to hear and reflect back whatever's going on for her, And if she wants to go to somebody, she will. But if she doesn't, you can't force her to go. So it's better to try and go, okay, you don't need to know the answers. You just need to hear her and support her. Tell me about your day. Gosh, that sounds like it was really challenging. Wow, it sounds like you had a hard time with that. We want to encourage our kids to talk to us, but we may not have answers, and that's okay. We don't need answers. We need to help our kids be resilient. How is she going to manage it? Your self-care will help her see how to do it. Don't need to talk to her about it. I say, I'm going for a walk. It really helps me just feel a bit better. Gosh, I'm choosing to have this for dinner today because I know when I eat shit, it doesn't make me feel well. Well, I'm going to get 8 hours sleep tonight because guess what? I know I feel better after 8 hours sleep. We share what we're doing, or they see what we're doing, and they understand from observing us, that those things help. And that's how we help them, right? Rather than go talk to somebody outside of the family. That can be helpful. Sometimes it's really necessary. but not everybody wants to do it. And so we have to look at how we're going to manage that. And not everybody can afford to do it, which is partially why I do what I do, because it's expensive. So, as her mum, be present. As her mum, tell her you love her. Tell her that she's a good girl. Tell her that you want to help her out in any way you can. And all she's got to do is ask, and you'll be there in a heartbeat. Those are the important things we can do with our kids. As I said before, self-care is really important. If you have a question, please pop it quickly into the chat. I'm gonna wind things up for this session this week. As I said before, I would really appreciate enormously if you could just copy the URL of the videos on my channel and send them to somebody who might appreciate them. If you see my stuff online, give it a like, comment on it, pass it on to somebody. It really helps me reach more people. And I've really pivoted this year from being on another social media platform to being on YouTube. It has been a massive learning curve. It really has. Learning how to do the things that are required on this channel. I think that YouTube offers some really big benefits insofar as we don't have the noise of social media here. It gives us an opportunity to be more private if we wish. I'm going to be adding things to my channel, like a membership. I've got a little store here so people can purchase some bits and pieces from me if they want to. I'm always mindful, of trying to keep things affordable for people, because I know it's tough right now, very tough right now for a lot of people. So yeah, it would really, really help me out enormously if you could give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, hit the notification bell, share my stuff with people. That would be really appreciated enormously. If there are any other comments, pop them into the comment section right now. If you're coming on the replay, you can comment too. You're allowed to comment. I come and check them as much as I can, and try and follow up with people if they have commented on my videos. I had a video go out, so my big videos go out on Mondays and Fridays, and I do lots of shorter little videos during the week. If you see the shorts, I've just changed the format of them, so I'm keen to see if they land or people think they're rubbish. Gosh, it's hard. The thing is, I love what I do, which is helping women, in midlife, well, when I say midlife, 40s plus, who are going through really tricky life events. Maybe their partner's left, maybe their partner's had an affair, maybe they're struggling, wrangling kids, maybe they're dealing with midlife issues. That's what I love doing. But to be able to do that, I also have to have a space to do that. And so I have to learn how to do that in the space. It's not my favorite thing to do, to be honest. I didn't take my degree so I could learn how to edit videos, trust me. But it is a method to getting in front of people and helping people, and moving from that social media channel to this one has been challenging. So if you see me on other channels, please come over to my YouTube, which is where I will be inhabiting in the coming years. So this is going to be my new home on the internet. So you are more than welcome to come and join me here. And of course, I do appreciate you so much. I love what I do for a living. Like, I love what I do, and I love it because of people like you who come. I get to know you. I get to see you going through your life ups and downs. We get to walk beside each other. I see many of the women who I work with as family to me. Many of you, I look at the names here right now and know that I know you, a lot of you, really well. We have spent time getting to know each other and finding out of each other's lives and being present for each other. And that really is a lovely feeling. It really is. A quick question. What's the best way to do the things you need to do to improve yourself but lack motivation to do it? It's a really good question, Rebecca. And I think motivation is not the right place to start, because I don't think we are motivated. I did a video about going to the gym, a poem about going to the gym. I freaking hate going to the gym. I hate it. I don't like it. It doesn't bring me joy. I don't have motivation for that at all. But what I do instead, because I've never regretted going to the gym, right? I've never come away from the gym going, God, I wish I hadn't done that today. I always come away going, God, I'm so glad I did that. And the thing that works for me is I just set a time, and it's a non-negotiable time. I go at 12:30, I go to the gym. That's what I do. And so I make sure that I'm doing the thing. So I know that, you know, at 12 o'clock, I'm getting dressed, ready to go to the gym, and I get my water bottle ready and I get my towel ready. And I'm like, I'm going to the gym at 12:30. I don't have to be motivated. I just have to have it locked and loaded. You know what I mean? You love the gym poem. I loved writing the gym poem. There's another one coming out about menopause, which is really funny. And there's one about me getting frustrated on here, trying to work out how to do things and ending up in tears. So we don't need motivation. We think we need motivation. We don't. We just need to do it. At the moment, I am working on my physical health, and so I have gained a fair bit of weight since menopause. And you know, it's uncomfortable. Like it was starting to be, you know, huffy and puffy climbing upstairs and doing things, you know, like putting my shoes on, and like it started to be challenging. And you know, I'm 59, and I just was like, wow, this is not healthful. This is not what I want. And so I then decided, okay, I need to lose weight. And I'm going to tell you, since I'm about two weeks into this time around, and I don't diet because I don't believe in dieting at all. I don't think dieting is good for you, and I've never dieted in my life. But what I do is change my habits. So I fast. I do long fasts, and I limit my intake of calories by eating in a very small window and being mindful of what I'm eating. But I've lost, I think, nearly 7 kilos in the last 2 weeks. I don't know what that is in pounds, but about 7 kilos in the last 2 weeks. And it won't continue to be as rapid as this. But the reason I do it this way is because I know that, number one, it repairs my gut because I'm fasting. Number two, it is a quick hit, so it helps me feel motivated to keep going. But for me, I couldn't be weighing things and measuring things and all that. So for me to be motivated to reach my goals around health and well-being, which is for me weight loss, then for me to do that, I have to have some non-negotiables. And my non-negotiables, I don't eat through my window of not eating, and that is a non-negotiable. I just don't eat. I go, you're not eating, so stop whinging. And then when my window opens, I try and have really healthy, like really nutritious, protein-dense food that fills me up and makes me feel satisfied. And at the same time, you know, it gives me the calories that I need. And I always have a bowl of berries and some of my yogurt, my special yogurt, and some of my delicious date juice on top. It's not juice, it's more of a creamy paste, really. So I don't think we need to be motivated. We just need to set it in routine, and we need to make it non-negotiable. And once you've done that, after a little while, it becomes kind of, okay, this is when I go to the gym, and you just do. Okay, I just don't eat during the day, and you just do. It takes about 3 days to get comfortable with, and then you go, I just don't. Again, to be motivated is not the ideal, because there's lots of times we're not motivated. Choosing one, and the other thing is, don't go too crazy, you know. So keeping it to one thing. Maybe it's about getting a good night's sleep. And so you go, I go to bed at 11 o'clock. I just go to bed at 11 o'clock. It doesn't matter. Hail, rain, or shine, it's 11 o'clock. I get up at 7 o'clock, and you just stick to it, and you go, that's it. I go to bed this time, I get up at this time. And you know, you didn't sleep, no dramas. I still get up at 7, so your alarm is set. So you gradually get into the routine of doing it, you know. If it's about health and well-being, I go for a walk at 5 o'clock after work, or I go for a walk in my lunch break, and we set ourselves up, and it's non-negotiable. You know, if somebody goes, do you want to go to lunch? You go, actually, you know, I walk at lunchtime. You're more than welcome to join me. You know, I had an invitation to drinks this week, and God bless the gorgeous lady who invited me. And I said, oh, I'd love to come, but I'm on the herbal tea. And she said, oh, I can make herbal tea. And I went, good, okay, then I'll be more than happy to come. But I'm having herbal tea because it'll be in my window, and in my window, I don't drink anything other than black coffee, black tea, water. That's all I drink during the window. So, and I want to go because it's a social event, but I'm going to go a bit earlier, and I'm going to have herbal tea and water instead of having wine and cheese. So again, we set ourselves up for success. Small, tiny things. Make sure that we can reach the goal. That's the thing. Don't put something out in the, like, I've got 1, 2, 3. 4 weight goals, right? So I broke it up to 4 because one weight goal was going to be overwhelming and I may not, I'd be going, what's the point? This is way too big. I'm about to hit the first milestone, which just brings me so much joy. I'm like, wow, okay, that's one of the 4 gone. The next one means I'm halfway to my goal, which is just huge. But I'm a quarter of a way to my goal, which will happen in the next day or two, hopefully. So that's how it can be more manageable when you're trying to change things. And tiny things. Don't go for huge things. Go for little incremental things and then build something into it. A little incremental thing and build something into it. That's how you do it. I've this week and last week, because of what's going on for me personally, I've been really mindful about a couple of things that I find so helpful. One is about my lymphatic system and really, really giving my lymphatic system a bit of a boost. And I do that a couple of ways. Number one, I use a little machine that oscillates to try and help my lymphatic system really have a bit of a clean out. I also do a lot of lymphatic drainage myself, and taking care of my lymph system, which is really good, so you're not clogged up in your body, and your body is getting rid of a lot of the crap that's in there. And also for me, saunas, where saunas really help my body in enormous ways. They help my liver, they help my skin, they help my gut, they help with soft tissue injuries, like the list goes on and on, but it also supports lymphatic drainage. So doing things that help. And I've just gotten into a routine. I've gone, well, this is what I do, and I do it every single day, and I do it at this time of the day, and I make sure I do it, because if I do it, I know the benefits are huge for me. So again, set yourself up for success. That's what I would recommend to you, my darling. All right, ladies, if there are no more questions, I'm going to head off. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, I love the work that I do. I love getting to know women and walk beside them for a while in whatever circumstances they are going through. I'm here to help and support you. If you have questions, let me know. It is just really, it's a good job. Like who wouldn't want my job? I love what I do for a living. I love what I do for a living. I'm so blessed. P.S. for those who know, look at my ranunculus. Aren't they delish? So my ranunculus are finally flowering this year. I love this time of year. I love the ranunculus. They're one of my favorite flowers for spring. And also my calla lilies came up. I'm going to be talking to my members about that tomorrow, because they're tiny. I don't know what I've done wrong with the calla lilies. They're really, really tiny. So I'll be asking my members for some advice about that tomorrow, because they always can give me good advice. A few of my ladies in my membership are gardeners like me and know lots of stuff and share their good stuff so that I can work things out. Thank you so much for coming and joining me. I hope you are having a wonderful week. If you are not, hang in there. And up your self-care. It's really important and it'll really help, trust me. Take care, everyone, and I will see you all next week.